You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the November 28th meeting of the Michigan City Historic Preservation Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Meeting to order. I don't know if you've all had a chance to look over your minutes from our 2 meetings that we had. Some of you've had time tonight, some of you haven't.
Should do roll call first.
Yeah, you could do that while they're kind of perusing.
Okay. Joyce Dalton,
Present.
Danny Granquist,
Here.
Dwayne Hurd, Amy Bowman.
Here.
Gray Coulter,
Here.
John Hendricks, I'm here. Roger Potrat. Here. Jonas Zimmerman.
Here.
Jed Parcell is online.
Same here.
All right. And Kyle Anthony Pettit here. All right.
Okay. So if anybody have any objections or corrections to the minutes from those 2 meetings?
No objection. Is there any change from staff, any last minute?
No,
Okay.
everything stayed the same. I was hoping to get more information. I did not. Everything's good.
Okay, thank you, Deb. So I have a
Motion to
motion.
approve agenda?
We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So now we are going to, any correspondence come in?
Minutes. The minutes for October 24th?
Well, I said all of these that we got.
For the whole thing.
So, yeah,
Agenda and the minutes.
yeah.
Well, for both of them, I have one minor correction,
Which one?
because we had the, this says October 25 meeting.
And this says the
Excerpt from
24.
10/24,
Yeah,
Okay.
so you just want to correct just one day.
Yeah.
Someone may read it and get confused
So
10 years from now.
the meeting was on the 25th.
and they can't
right?
get us in, can they? Okay, if everyone look at the agenda. Any
The minutes from the November 2.
corrections or anything that we need for the agenda?
We had an excerpt from the 10/25.
Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay,
I was way too far ahead.
that's okay.
He's jumping ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Okay, you're okay, John?
Yep.
All right, and no correspondence, Kyle said. And then we'll go into the maintenance review.
Okay. So our first one that we have is at 406 East 9th Street. This is a roof replacement. They will be replacing with a pewter gray, which is the same as they had previously. And this was staff approved.
Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay, then we'll move on to the next one.
So our next one is at 907
Franklin?
Franklin. So what they were attempting to do was
That's this one.
remove the concrete that is in place currently and replace it with a high-end AstroTurf in the hopes to be able to kind of reclaim that space so it could be used out as like an outside patio area for the Uptown Theater.
And if you can kind of look in this drawing, because I did ask, they are gonna try to put a fence up. Just
That'd be nice.
like
Have
what
like an
was
outdoor
there
area for like a
before.
reception area
Yes,
kind of thing
yes.
too. That'd be nice.
Kind of like what was there before, to keep people on instead of
Anything
jumping.
looks better than that.
Right, oh yeah, yeah, it looked pretty sad.
Well, they came before us to
For the fence,
fix,
yes.
yeah,
Right.
they were gonna do something, so obviously what they wanted to do isn't gonna work with the levels of.
Any questions or,
This is a good improvement.
okay. It will be very nice. And then the last one is,
So the last one is 211 East 6th Street. So what they are attempting to do is repoint the structure that they have there. In terms of, I talked with them, they're gonna be using a mortar that is approximately a type N, which is through kind of the guidelines that we had proposed, that we had talked about. That is what fits in terms of being a mortar that isn't gonna be too hard on the brick, and that will allow the expansion of moisture. So that was staff approved as well.
Anybody have any question? That's the Dunes house, if anyone's wondering. Okay,
What is that, what is that property?
it's the Dunes house,
Dune's house.
recovery.
It's like the halfway house,
Yeah.
like the,
It's recovery and
that what it is?
place to
Halfway
stay.
house?
Yeah. It's like the first house on
Six.
6th Street off of Pine.
Yeah, because next door they remodeled that really nice house. They did a nice
Right.
job remodeling.
Yes, that, they came before us, the house next door, when they did all that work on it.
Now, how far does that district go east there?
The historic, all the way to the boulevard.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we will go to our certificates, and the first one is 525 Franklin Street.
I think Deb is gonna,
Deb, are you with us?
I am with you, and I'm sorry I don't have my video on. I was hoping to get farther down the road. I'm actually in southern Indiana in Panera, so
Oh.
I don't really want to have all the people around me on the screen too. So hopefully you can hear me okay.
We can.
Good. All right, so 525 Franklin is a non-contributing structure. It's had enough alterations to the front. It's rated non-contributing currently. It was an 1885 Italianate. It's owned by Monica Gauker or something like that. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. The proposed project is a sign, a new sign on the building's front facade. The sign will be black metal with attached raised polyurethane foam painted gold. It is non-lit. It will be installed on the building with attachment points in the mortar. So the findings of fact are the new sign is in proportion with and has color and details compatible to the building. The sign is not lit. The sign will be mounted to the masonry in the mortar joints only. And the property is rated non-contributing. Excuse me, I'll turn my page here. So staff recommendation is for approval as submitted, as it meets the guidelines for the historic district.
Okay.
Say, Deb,
Yes,
tell them though that they have to install it parallel to the windows below.
yes, that's a good point.
See that? Look at the number, click here and
Anyone else have any questions or comments? If you went by there, the people that were in there before, their sign is still up there, so, yeah. Okay,
Motion to approve is recommended by staff.
thank you. Second, please.
A second.
Okay, and we'll go on to Cedar Street.
Can you vote on that? We're gonna vote on
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay. Now we're going to go to Cedar Street. And there's not an address, so.
So Cedar Street is going to be a new construction, infill. It'll be between 7th and 6th Streets. And this is one that I do not have details on. You did get hopefully the drawings to go with it.
Yes.
And so I think all we can do at this point is approve the drawings. And then once we have details, if they're within the historic district guidelines, then they can be approved, hopefully by staff. So I'll read what I've got, but without details on the construction materials, you know, windows and doors and siding and such, it was a little difficult to write this one. So the finding of fact is This is a contemporary interpretation of a prairie-style residential building, and that would meet the historic district guidelines for design. The two-story height is compatible with most of the residential buildings in Elston Grove Historic District. There honestly aren't too many buildings real close to it, but it would be compatible with the district overall. The 1-over-1 windows that are shown in the drawings, some of them have transoms, they're grouped in pairs or threes. Those are typical also for that era, so I think that would be very compatible. The hip roof and on the building and the porch as well would be compatible with the historic district. The directional character and scale of the building is appropriate for the location. The compatibility of the materials obviously is unknown at the present time. So staff would recommend first a motion to approve the design and the location on the lot as submitted, as the project meets the historic district guidelines for new construction infill in those particular areas. And then secondly, part of the motion to have the material selection, the windows, doors, roofing, gutters, siding, fences, etc., the porch details and the colors receive final approval from staff upon submission unless those choices do not meet the historic district guidelines.
Okay. So do I have a motion for the first one to approve the drawings as we've seen tonight and that Deb has reported on?
I'll make a motion.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed, same. Thank you. Okay, passed, Deb. Thank you. Now we need a motion. Now we need the motion for staff approval when they tell us the building materials, the colors, and all the rest of the outside, inside work that will be visible.
Was that part of the original motion?
Yeah, I can make it part of the original motion to approve both. Can you do that?
Well, she put it that staff will be approving this one. When we present the,
Okay.
So we approve the drawings, it'll be different if we approve the next thing as well, is that kind of what you're saying?
well, that's what John's saying, but I think it needs to be two separate things,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what the staff recommendation is.
So do I have,
It's got a fire, is the second floor gonna be separate from the first floor then as far as the parking?
In a way, it's,
Because they got a 2-hour separation.
yeah, so how, based upon how they explained it to me is that there's one unit in the front and then there's a unit in the back.
Oh. Okay.
So it'll be two-story units, basically.
Well, I'm kind of curious, you look on sheet G, what in the world do you need, why do you need to strap the water heater to a wall? The detail of strapping the water heater to the wall.
well, if it's a rental, you'd be shocked.
They don't want it to sneak up.
No, sometimes when
Oh,
parties
yeah,
are
people will
held,
take them, yeah.
or when they knock them over,
Where are you
Oh, yeah.
seeing that?
what page?
On G, right?
G,
G, last sheet.
Yeah, scrappers will break in and take them.
Oh, that's true too. Well, let's hope not.
Yeah.
Water
Okay.
heater support.
I need a motion for the second part.
I'll make a motion for the second part also.
Thank you, John.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay, passed. All right, Deb, we've got that one done. Now we're going to 421 East 8.
Okay, before we do that one, can I ask a question of you guys? I just got a text from Sue Downs, and she said she gave directions to a man named Mike with Simcoe. Is Simcoe the sign company?
Yes.
Yes.
So that he would have been for the first COA that we've already approved. Okay. Well, he may show up, just so you know.
Okay.
He was at City Hall trying to get in.
Oh,
Didn't understand where the meeting was. So Sue sent him, gave him directions, so you may be seeing him
okay, thank you.
shortly.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, so on to 421 East 8th Street. This is an outstanding rated Queen Anne. It's rated outstanding before the porch got taken off, we'll just say that. It was built in 1890. And the major alteration is the front porch, porch balustrade been removed, the wood trim has been removed, so the proposed project is rebuilding the front porch, utilizing the materials salvaged from the home as much as possible to present a reasonable facsimile of the original porch. So Crumlish and Crumlish Architects have been retained to do drawings for this, and you should have those drawings with your COA applications. It's a really good replication of the original porch. So finding of fact, the original porch balustrade, skirting, and trim have been previously removed. The new porch design replicates the original. The existing porch materials will be reused as much as possible. And on your drawings there, it spells out vinyl lattice for the lower porch skirting. And I noted on here that was not approved for use in the historic district, but since I've written this, I've had a conversation with the owner, and she's very open to using something different. Recommended something from the material selection that you guys have already pre-approved, so a composite material. I can't even think what else on your list, but she and I have talked about that, so that is probably not an issue anymore. So staff recommendation is a motion to approve the design as submitted, with the exception of the vinyl lattice porch skirting. There are two different baluster spacing options. If you see that on the drawing, I would recommend approval of baluster spacing option 2 if that's allowed by the building department. That is not current code because it's more than 4 inches apart. Alternatively, if that can't be allowed by the building department, then option 1 with the 4-inch spacing, if that's what's required. And then the porch skirting material should be from the commission's pre-approved material list. And that could receive final approval from staff upon submission of exactly which material they're choosing to use.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Deb?
I noticed they're way back, if you look across the 1980s photograph,
Well, that's what she said,
and then look how it's
well, that's what-
different today, that they've gone to the steps of getting it back to that.
well,
That's good.
That's not the owners now, that's the people that sold it to them.
Oh, okay.
Did that. Yeah, it'll be nice when it's done because it's kind of sad right now.
Adorable house.
Yes, it is. Any other questions? Can I have a motion?
I so move.
Okay, Roger, and a second, please.
I'll second.
Amy, thank you. All in favor?
I
Opposed, the same.
assume they're gonna be paid too.
Yes. After they're all done, I'm sure. They've already done some window repair. They came before us for
Yeah.
that, so they have done that. Okay, now we will move on to 431 Washington Street.
Okay, 431 Washington Street came before us early this year. It was in 2021, I'm very sorry. 2021, it came before the commission with COA number 2021-030 for a number of things that they plan to do to this American Foursquare on Washington Street. You approved replacement of windows in the house at that time because they've been replaced with ill-sized windows. Some of them were covered over, some of them were shorter, and they were looking to go back to the original size windows. Marvin Elevate Fiberglass, which is on the pre-approved list of windows, was what they chose. They also asked for approval of removing the existing storage that's at the back of the building, the exterior stairs, and then building a new storage and stairway at the rear of the property. And all that was approved in 2021. So since that time, they've had a change in use. So instead of doing a new storage area in the back, they're still proposing taking off the existing, but the new space that they build, they want to use as an ice cream shop. So the basic change to what was approved in 2021 is that there were 2 windows that were proposed for that new storage area, and they don't want to use those 2 windows. There would just be solid wall. There are no windows there now. So that is really the only change we're looking at. We're looking at a change of use, which is nothing to do with historic preservation, and then eliminating those 2 windows on the south side. So you should see that in the new drawings that were sent out with the staff reports. So the finding of fact, the windows were approved for the new storage addition that was proposed with COA 2021-030. The windows are now proposed to be eliminated from the plans, just those 2 windows. Everything else will continue on, and no change will occur to the original structure. So the changes that are happening are just in that storage area.
And that's where the ice cream shop's gonna be?
Yes, in the back.
So there'll be no windows to,
I think there's doors, if I remember the drawings right.
There's one door.
I don't actually have those with me.
there's one door. One door, and then over a little bit is the 2 windows.
So
Yeah,
that's what they asked for. I don't know, are they there at the meeting?
yes.
Okay, so maybe they can clarify that.
Yeah, there was on the west elevation, originally, there was only that one door that's in that photograph, there's one door in those windows. They're adding a second door, and then there are 2 garage doors, one on the west elevation and one on the south elevation.
Is that this one?
That is the west elevation, correct. So that window will go away for another door. And then there'll be a garage door closer to the corner. To the south, I guess it would be closer to the street. So a garage door facing to the west, and then a garage door facing south towards the street. That's what they were proposing to do as kind of, then they were glass doors that were, so I imagine that it's a more of a roll-up door.
Kind of like Barker Pub has.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay. Okay,
This will have to be submitted to the state, won't it?
Yes, and it has been submitted to the state
Has been.
with the revisions, yes.
anyone else have any questions? Any questions for Deb? And you're still gonna have apartments?
Correct, yeah, that part is unchanged. That part is.
Like it was
Yeah, like it was before.
Okay.
An apartment on the first floor and an apartment on the second floor.
Right.
Close proximity to the ice cream line.
Yeah, you get midnight snacks. Any other questions? Can I have a motion then?
Motion to approve is recommended by staff.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same. Thank you. Thank you.
We get ice cream, right, and bring that.
We get treats.
Additional approval upon.
Last Monday of the month, ice cream every, you know.
Every Monday.
Will remain as is. I don't know if they plan on painting that or, but that will remain, all the ramp and the railings and all that will remain, so.
Okay, Deb, we're gonna go to 227 West 7th Street.
Okay, so this is new text that's applying for this. The owner is the Barker Mansion. We have also had this one. This is the one that was coming before you early this year. I think it was 2022-002 was the COA. And this property is rated contributing, but it's had a number of changes to it already. It already had vinyl siding, it had vinyl windows installed in 2004, and the previous COA this year approved replacement of those vinyl windows with new vinyl windows, which I just have to note that does tell you about how long vinyl windows last. 2004 to 2022, they got 18 years out of that.
Wow.
Which is nothing compared to original windows usually. So just my own little editorial there off to the side.
Oh, we thank you.
So, but the building has now changed hands. So Barker Mansion owns it, and they're coming back and they're asking to remove the vinyl siding and replace that, as well as redo the roofing and replace the windows, but with different windows. So the original request was for LP Smart Side, 4 3/4 inch slab on the house and cedar textured shake siding on the gables. To roof it with Certainty Landmark architectural asphalt shingles in weathered wood. And replace the windows with Pella Lifestyle Series double hung. White exterior trimmed out with 5/4 by 4 inch cedar textured trim. And install aluminum gutters and downspouts. The colors are undetermined at this time. So the findings is that the vinyl windows were approved with COA 2022-002. The proposed aluminum-clad wood Pella Lifestyle windows are not on the pre-approved list, but they do meet the guidelines. Replacing the existing vinyl siding with LP Smart Side meets the guidelines if a smooth finish rather than the faux wood grain is used. The shape and style of the gable shingles could be determined from the original gable siding detail following removal of the vinyl siding. I don't know what was in there, so I think it would be good to look at that before deciding on a shape for that detail. Now, the interesting part of this is, excuse me, LP Smart Side in the smooth finish is on the pre-approved list of materials, but when I went to check what colors are available, I couldn't find it. So I actually called Louisiana Pacific Corporation because the local salesman didn't know what was going on either. And they said LP Smart Side in the smooth finish is out of production until late 2023. So we obviously can't ask people to do that. But James Hardy does have a smooth finish siding. And I talked to a representative from the Barker Mansion and they are agreeable with James Hardy instead of LP Smart Side. So that would be the recommendation with the James Hardy siding and trim. Replacement of the asphalt shingles is an in-kind replacement that could be approved by staff. And replacement of the aluminum gutters and downspouts also could be approved by staff. So the motion is to approve the COA application as submitted with the condition that the final siding choice and the material colors are approved by staff upon submission.
Okay, any questions for Deb?
What are they gonna do with it?
Oh, it's going to be their event center so that they will hold wedding receptions there.
Yeah.
Because there will be no food or drink at all in the Barker Mansion anymore.
Not gonna do the tea out in the garden or anything like that anymore?
They will do that, but nothing inside.
Oh, okay.
Does Parker own this, McGinnis then?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
How long has that been? Quite a while?
No,
Since midsummer, yeah.
no, just a
What's
few
that?
months.
Since
It was in the
September.
paper, Roger.
Sometime this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it was,
They were applying for a liquor license before Bridges closed.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been this fall, but
okay.
any other questions?
I had a few.
Okay,
So if you guys could look at the historic photos, you'll notice that the siding is a lot thinner.
Yeah.
I think that's something that should be, taken into consideration, that making sure that having a similar profile to what was originally there, because of what happened in 2004, it was a very big deal in terms of this property in regards to the vinyl siding that had been put on, and making sure that we're able to get a thinner profile that is more similar to the original, as well as on the first story, that front window, you can see there's a decorative element.
prison, yeah.
I mean, that's up to you guys if you feel that, putting a window similar to that back in to what had historically been removed. And what was the other?
What year was the house built?
I don't have the exact year, but I'm assuming the 1880s.
Late 1800s, something like that.
And this is the earliest photo they could find from it?
Yes.
That one? No, that's from 1989.
I mean,
So that's the earliest photo I could find.
okay.
That's about 2.5
1894.
inch siding is what it is.
Yeah.
What?
That's about 2.5 inch siding.
Probably. Deb, do you have a copy of this?
She doesn't.
Okay, so maybe Kyle can send you one tomorrow so you can see what we're talking about?
That would be helpful, yeah, because I don't know what you're talking about. I will say that it's gonna be challenging to find a siding that's gonna be that narrow a profile. I don't know the widths of James Hardy. Boral also makes one. Boral might have a few more options than James Hardy. I seriously doubt James Hardy has anything under a 4-inch lap. I mean, you can adjust it a little bit when you hang it, but not that much.
Well, in
Very narrow siding, is hard to come by.
the photo that he's going to forward to you, where the two windows are in the front where it says McGinnis Pub and then they're below it, that was a big single window with like the prism part above it.
Oh, really?
And that's what Kyle's talking about too.
That's a good point.
Nice.
That would be nice if they could do that, because it just makes it look more formal, I think.
That would be very nice, yeah, if they were willing to do that. I mean,
Looks
since
like
they're
you'd
the
have
ones
like a
that
LED
took it
design
out,
in it or
we can't
something.
hold
Right.
into that, but
Right.
I would suggest it. I would say that would be wise to suggest it, if that's a possibility, that would be great.
Well, their desire, they said, is to
Yeah.
restore the building as close to its original look.
Right, and that would be it in this photo.
That would be it, yes,
Okay, well,
yeah, I think
Kyle,
that's
that's your
great.
job tomorrow, if you do nothing else.
That's your job tomorrow.
I can get that to her.
This is interesting because you know where the old hospital was? On the south side of this, south side of the hospital? What's that street?
Homer?
Barker?
Oh,
No,
on the south
on the
side.
south side of the old hospital.
In town or?
It'd be Manhattan Street or it'd be,
No, he's talking about,
Wabash?
well, Wabash is in front, Barker's beside
It'd be
it,
Buffalo Street or
Yeah,
something.
and behind it is either
Memorial,
Buffalo
not
Mac.
St. Anthony.
He's talking about the other one on the.
Not St. Anthony's,
The
no.
other one, Memorial Hospital.
High.
Oh, Memorial Hospital downtown here?
Memorial that was torn down.
So that would've been 6th Street and would've been,
Yes,
The only
six.
reason I mention it is that I worked on a house across the street from that building. It had 4-inch, 2.5 inch siding, and it did not have the corner that this one has, the corner trim. It had every corner, and that was mitered with the 2.5 inch sidings. That was just amazing.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Deb? Okay, do we have a motion?
The one thing I'm just kind of stuck on is that they want to restore it as close to the original look, but then the photo that we have is almost 100 years after. And there's got to be something that somebody's taken, because this house is somewhere between the mansion and the factory. There's got to be a photo. I mean, even if it's just in the back of something. So just,
I don't know how you'd find that if you searched and this is all you found.
Yeah, I mean, that's from, I just found that online in terms of the state. What the state has is sometimes, depending on, within the city, certain houses were surveyed and they took photos, and this is just so happened to be
Is
one
this
of them.
adjacent to the mansion?
It's the alleys
half
in
a block
between.
away. Yeah.
But if there's old pictures of the mansion, this might be in the background of that.
That could be.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
want to see if they found something. I mean, they have an archivist. They have somebody that's
do you want me
paid
to
to do
give you
this.
another job for a month?
Sure.
I know the Barker Mansion has been very detailed in restoring the mansion itself, so I'm sure they're very
There's a group of
interested in
gentlemen
doing
going
as
down
much
to
as
the
they
old
can.
Lighthouse Museum and they're going through all kinds of photos. That might be another option to contact them to see if they have any of those.
Yeah, Josh's photos are between the 20s and the 80s, though, at the
Wow.
museum. So
Oh,
I think the mansion would probably be a safer bet with their archivist.
if they have it,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
I
just-
motion people that were here before the 70s try to find a picture. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I can do that.
we do need a motion.
Motion to approve as recommended by staff, as submitted with the condition that final setting choice material colors are approved by staff, with, along with the request that they see if they can find the narrow
2.5
siding
inch siding. Yeah.
and adjust the window and see if they can find
Find
some old
photos.
photographs.
Now you got 3 jobs.
It's the longest motion I've ever heard.
And I second it.
All right, thank you, Amy. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Okay,
I'm
so,
gonna look through, you know what, I just thought of something out. At Barnes and Noble, they have history of like cities like Valparaiso, Chester, Michigan City. I'm gonna go look in there and just see
well, that's
they
gonna
might.
be your job for me.
Oh, no, I got a job.
But, yeah, if the Barker has anything, that would be great.
And the Historical Society sells those books too, so if you don't want to drive them out,
Well, there you go, see, I didn't.
keep the money local.
Where do they sell them at?
They'll be open, do you have it too?
I'll look.
You have two?
The copies of those little books or the,
The little sepia tone,
yeah,
yeah, I've got it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, they're historical.
She is closer.
I just
Well, no, I
have.
mean, I just have it in my own personal collection.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not
Well, I just
anything,
happened to
but
see,
yeah.
and I was looking at books with my son, I would go, oh, those are cool, you know, the history, and, I mean, my dad, you know, my dad was born in 1909, he was a history book for me, he told me about everything that was here, you know, but it's like, yeah. So, I look at old pictures he might have had too.
We found the albums.
Well, he was 62,
So
and
now
I
where
was
do you
probably
buy
living in
these
91,
books?
so.
The Historical Society will be open on weekends in December.
And that's it, and the old Lighthouse Museum?
Exactly. Noon to 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
I have to bring my son down there, it'll be fun.
Oh,
it
and
is.
first Friday on
Yes,
this week. Yeah.
it'll be open, it always is. But
Yeah.
I need to cook for the messy church at our church, so I can't ever go. I used to be a docent and I loved it.
We'll take you back and eat it.
Okay, any other discussion or things that should come before us?
Did you want this?
I have one question.
Sure.
Last year when I opened my business, we approved my window signage. Now I'm going to, they just re-tinted the windows, and I'm gonna have different signage. Should I need to resubmit that for the new signage too? Is that how it should go through, or?
It should.
Okay, just wanna make
We don't
sure.
wanna do something that we're telling other people to do and not do.
I know, but I didn't think any privilege I had, like I could just do it. I'm just saying, you know, I
No.
just wanted to make sure that I had to do that,
I think
proper
that-
channels and everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Just, that'll be another job for
That's
Kyle.
fine.
Just another job for Kyle? Oh, I
Just
don't wanna do
send
that. I
it
don't wanna do that to him. Come on
Just
now.
send it over.
Okay, no committee reports, I'm assuming. Okay, any old table business that needs to come before us? Okay, new business,
Do we want to go through my PowerPoint once more?
sure.
Is Deb online, and does she have any more reports? Is she gonna be able to?
Deb, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just gonna listen and,
Did you eat dinner yet?
actually I did.
We're trying to
Soup
soup
while we
there.
were talking.
There you go.
Hey.
Figured you're at Panera, so you had to have soup. I mean, that's.
I know. Perfect weather for that.
Yes, it is.
Shoes.
It's actually an amazing day today, pretty nice.
Yeah, well, and tomorrow's supposed to be 55.
When I was a kid, we had snow in the end of November. I'm just saying.
Most of the time.
Most of the time we do. And
Now it's Easter, they're hunting Easter eggs in snow, and it's like.
But then the next day it's gonna be 38 and cold and rainy. And the next day it's gonna be 33.
Okay,
And then it's gonna be 40.
just puncture the whole balloon there, you know.
I'm sorry.
We can go to the next. Once you had it, oh, perfect, okay. So this is pretty similar to the previous PowerPoint that I had put together in terms of conservation districts. I'm gonna run through it a little bit quicker because I feel like last time it was a little bit lengthy. If you wanna go to the next slide. So here were the 3 documents that I had used. Because I remember someone asking about what documents had been used prior. And these were the 3 that had been used, as well as I used SHARD, which is what the state uses in regards to historic resources. So this is Shard, and it's constantly updated. So this was one of the areas that we had looked at, I think it was 2 meetings ago. Next slide. So it's the one in the red. And from kind of how you guys saw from the last PowerPoint, from the last slide, there was some of those dots are some of those houses within that area. The blue, that's part of the Elston Grove, but those are not included either in the National Register District or the local district at the moment, and I felt that that it would allow it to be a good segue if that was the direction that things were to go. So here, the one in the red that goes along Franklin Street. The one in the purple is the Wolf area that we had talked about prior. You guys can kind of see. So the purple means, I believe it's contributing. The little red dot for the blue one in the top, that's going to be notable or exceptional. And then the green is, purple green. So all three of those colors show some kind of historic significance in terms of the buildings. These are, so this came from I think it's the 1989, and it follows the Washington district that is already in place in terms of the National Register nomination. This is what they had proposed originally. So something that I suggest up to you guys in terms of for a conservation district would be to continue that down. So that would be the one in the blue and red are kind of what those two conservation districts are. The one in the green is one that had been suggested in 2017 in terms of the double track as an area of emphasis, and then the one in yellow was kind of that blue circle a few slides back. So this is the that green box, and it kind of goes around the hospital. And they had in 2017 when they were doing their Section 106 review, this was an area that they had determined could be a potential district. So this here, we can see quite a bit of a variety of different colors. This is a new Edgewood and old Edgewood. So it kind of falls in line with trying to find a way to bring all of those within some type of district or some kind of collection. And this is from one of those books talking about Old Edgewood in terms of following Franklin Street and then going along Cool Spring. And then so here we are with Old Edgewood. And then here is New Edgewood. And here's all of them together in a somewhat hard way to see because of my color choice. So, does anyone, I guess, have any questions? Because that's all that I had.
What does it do for property values? Anything? Nothing?
Research would show that putting something in a district it actually increases value. Just because if you're gonna, invest the money in terms of using improvements in terms of materials, more likely property value increases, as well as properties around either conservation districts or historic districts. They also benefit as well. So not just the people in the districts, but also people in the immediate areas also benefit in terms of increases in property value.
So basically what we need to do is decide if we want to make these districts and then determine what they would be called.
Yes, I mean, I still need to have an ordinance written up, and it needs to go through the council. So I mean, there's some other steps. So in a way, I kind of went a little bit ahead. So once the council, reads through what I have written up about it, then it will go through, I think it's 3 readings, and it's up to them in terms of if they would be interested in pursuing even having conservation districts.
So it's basically up to them if they want to approve it, and then we would be next.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, they would approve the final ordinance, but we would submit a recommendation of our own findings of fact. Of,
Yes.
This benefit, we find that this benefit, these reasons, so forth, and submit that to the
Correct.
city.
Yeah.
Okay. So do we need to take a vote on that? Or is there any
Well, I
discussion?
think a consensus for
More of a consensus.
just to continue with your preparation and study.
History or, your research.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, I think of the
I think it's a great idea.
benefits there, I think it's a great idea, but if it enhances that area and brings everybody,
And the overall city.
yeah. And it kind of connects areas that, in a way that I think, yeah.
Need connecting.
Well, and I think when you and Skylar shared about all the people now in Franklin asking about what can be done for them, I think that's a good sign too.
And Deb, when we talked about the conservation, it was not so much all the detail, but new construction and demolition kind of limits.
Right, new construction, demolition, and additions to existing structures are the things that would be reviewed. So it's limited, but I don't know how the process works in Michigan City for sure, because I don't have your ordinance memorized, sorry to say. But in some of the other towns that I've worked with where we've done new districts, first it goes through the commission, and there's some public hearings with the commission first. Sometimes just a meeting, some casual meetings. Kendallville most recently did a historic district. So they had a couple just casual public meetings at different times on different days to try to get as many of the owners as possible in there. They gave them the outline of the district that they were thinking about, talked over what would happen in the future if that did turn into a district, and let people ask a lot of questions because they have questions. So that was kind of the process that they went through first. And once they felt they had consensus from buy-in, it's more what you want to say, that they had buy-in from the property owners in that area, then the commission made a motion to make this a historic district, conservation district, whatever, and then that went to the city council. And then they had multiple public readings. So I don't know if that's the same process in Michigan City, but that's how it went there. First, talk to the public, then you guys made a motion, then it went to the council.
Well, it sounds like a reasonable and practical strategy.
I mean, I think it's really important that you've got the buy-in of the people. You can railroad these things through, but it will be a living nightmare if you do. Yeah. So it's best to squelch the doubts and answer their questions up front, because usually people have all kinds of crazy misconceptions. And when they hear what it is, they are on board. They're like, oh, this is good. This actually will increase our property values. This is not an onerous thing, especially a conservation district. There's people who think you're going to review their new kitchen plans or something like that. It's not like that. So I think it's good to have those conversations and eliminate that layer of fear that's out there.
Thank you.
So yeah, give the people the knowledge of the benefits and then go from there as far as the next step is us and then to the council and then, yeah.
Have a
I think
conversation.
Kyle would continue his preparation.
Have a meeting, get everybody
Get
together.
us
Bring them
more
all.
detailed information. Once we're satisfied with the information that we have, then we would schedule one or more public hearings to explain and present it to the community. And once we get the buy-in from there, then we can finalize our motion to the city, our recommendation to the city council.
Okay, that's another job.
We could meet at a new ice cream place or something. Just a thought, you know, nothing.
Only on Monday.
I mean, only, yeah, you know.
Okay, well then I think we're all in a consensus here to ask Kyle to continue.
Sure, if you want to
Okay.
Press on, Kyle. Now you've got more jobs to do.
Yes, he
See?
does. Okay, and our last one is update on getting the word out
The
about,
website too.
pretty much.
oh, the website is the same.
So this is kind of getting the word out with the website.
I don't know.
Well,
It's too big, I
We
don't-
talked about it.
Kind of.
Hey, stay awake over there, would you?
Sorry, woo.
See, you're down there too far
I
away from
know,
us.
out of the loop.
Yeah.
I'll have a look at that. I'm gonna get this one.
Thanks.
So kind of, I outlined roughly what would be put on the website, and kind of, I'm working on just filling out more information, and if you guys were to flip it on the other side, it's the dates for next year. Just, that's something that I think needs to be put on the website.
For the meetings you're talking about?
Well, meetings as well as when the
When things are-
COA should be turned in,
I
even
think
though
that's excellent.
I am a
Yeah.
little bit lenient sometimes.
It's because you're too nice.
I know. But it's, so the information is there, so I'm just continuing to work on trying to, be ready. Hopefully, my goal would be that we could maybe have it put on by the new year, maybe a little bit later. But just to have more information on our little section of the web page, so then people know where to go to in terms of
I think that's a great idea.
in terms of when meetings are, what time they are, and stuff like
Who
that.
is the webmaster? Is there one for the city, for all of
There
our
is one
boards and
for the city.
commissions?
There is one for the city.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Is it internal?
Yeah, it's internal. So the goal would be the sooner I can get this on the website.
So are you saying you are the
I
website?
am not the webmaster. I am not,
Okay.
but I know who is.
Okay, okay.
It's a need to know basis right now, you don't need to know.
He's afraid
He
we're,
can tell you, but he'd have to kill you.
Yeah, you need to know.
yeah, he's afraid we go tell him, give him another.
It's Batman.
Well, I think everybody's in agreement.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay.
We appreciate that because we've talked about this now for almost 3 years and we really still don't have anything in place.
Does that include maps of the current?
That will also include an updated map.
Awesome, very good.
So, yeah.
Of the current districts?
Of the current districts, and then if when the conservations, or if those would also then be added on as well.
Okay,
Very cool, very cool.
good, good. Okay. Any other comments or questions on that?
On that one, no, but I
Okay,
have another thing that I forgot to add.
Okay.
For our next meeting, if you guys didn't know, I believe is December 24th.
I know.
I don't want to come in. I don't want to come in for the 24th.
26, yeah.
24, Saturday.
Is
I
it?
read you're on a Saturday.
24th?
It's Christmas Eve, I'm not.
Christmas Eve, I think it is. It's around that time.
That's a Saturday.
Because the 25th is definitely a Sunday.
25th is Sunday.
Christmas and New Year's both on Sunday this year, so that's.
Yeah.
But I see where you're going with this, and I agree.
So it's
Yeah.
very close to Christmas, and I know people are traveling, and I was wondering if you guys would be okay with meeting on December the 19th, which is a Monday,
Yes.
as opposed to the next, the following.
There's a potential that due to my flower duties, I might not be here.
Okay.
You gonna be picking flowers?
I can do that.
That's the week of Christmas. I might be making my little fingers. I might come in if I'm covered in Christmas greens and everything.
Well, we'd like that.
That sounds great.
I
Yeah,
might have lost my cherub-like demeanor, but they'll come in like the Grinch or something.
he was green. You said the 19th?
19th?
Yes.
Okay,
Is that, how's everybody looking with that?
that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
here,
Yes.
okay. All right,
Are all our meetings gonna be here now? Is that
I
yes.
think
pretty
so,
much
yeah.
for the most part? Okay.
They want it because they're set up here for the channel,
Oh, okay.
correct, Drew?
We go to Panera with Deb. I mean, that's cool.
In southern
Southern Indiana.
I mean, you know.
Hey, this is a good place.
Well, if we have
Still got a long
soup
way to
next
go,
time, would
lady.
you come here?
Sure.
We'll have to bring soup. Oh, okay. Deb, it's gonna be on the 19th at 6.
There is a strong possibility I will be right back here in the same Panera because I think I'll be coming home from Alabama again with my daughter for Christmas.
Oh,
So
nice.
we'll see, but I guess this works if we have to.
Yes, yeah, it works fine. Thank you.
You need to be on video next time, though.
Yeah, you can see everybody else that's eating here. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. It's a very public meeting, right?
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get the word out.
That's right.
Okay, any public comment? You're the only public we got here, so we appreciate it.
Advertise your ice cream shop?
There you go.
To bring me up to date, that special meeting that you had, was it last month? How did that turn out?
It turned out.
It turned out fine for us.
Okay.
No change.
They, it was interesting, and I will tell you, when everyone left, I was getting my stuff ready, and the other tree commission came in, and the one guy was giving me a hard time because he used to be a little kid in my church, and now he's this. And so we talked a little bit, and he said, well, what's the hassle or something about the library? And I said, well, they can't get slate. And he said, well, yes, they can. He lives on Cool Spring, on the corner of Maple and Cool Spring. He has a slate roof, and it's very steep. And every 2 years, some of the slate just slides right off. So he has a company that comes in and puts new slate on his roof every year. And I said, where are they located? They're located in South Bend, Indiana, where this company is from. And they said they can't get slate. So he's gave me the name of the company, and but we haven't heard anything from the library. I know now they're worried about working on tearing up the parking lot there.
Also, Deb, you sent, I think you sent the Landmark magazine of some sort, and the one recently, just a week or two ago, had a whole list of slate alternative sources.
Yes,
Yes, it did.
yes, it did. Right.
But we haven't
Yeah.
heard from them, so if you do, we might want to tell them to look in the Landmark magazine. Or I will send you that name of that company in South Bend. I just thought that was interesting. That,
How ironic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Was it, do you know, was it slate tile? Was that
Oh,
the
it's-
company?
Yeah, it's slate, and that's what they make.
Well, I mean, the name of the company was it Slate, it's SLATILE,
I think it
Slate
is.
Tile.
I think it is.
So I know they're one that does. I also know there's Mogan Roofing out of New Carlisle.
No, they-
Josh Mogan and Mogan Roofing. They do slate roofs also.
Okay. No, this
I
one's
don't know
right
the
there.
availability of the material, but I know they install slate roofs.
Yeah, well,
So
this one's
somewhere
right
they
in
get the
South
material.
Bend. It's the first one you said, right in South Bend.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
I just
yeah,
thought it was
they're around.
interesting that they said they couldn't find it anywhere, and it's in their town, but anyway.
Yeah,
Okay, so I will send you that name, or she has it too, so.
A brief summary of the last meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody, commissioner staff have any comment? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Okay, Amy and Joshua.
On the old hospital site, where the structures and
Thank you for your patience, appreciate you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you.